7 o'clock. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals, the Village of Bartlett, Counties of Cook, DuPage, and Kane. Please call the roll.
George Koziel.
Here.
Joe Bano.
Here.
Bob Bacaro. Michelle Sarwaz. Here. Charlie DeVoe.
Here.
Mike Weirden.
Here. You have in front of you the minutes from the January 6th meeting. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Yeah, I move to approve the minutes from last month.
Moved by Joe,
A second.
seconded by Charlie. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Joe Bano.
Yes.
Michelle Sarwaz. Charlie DeVoe.
Yes.
George Koziel.
Yes.
Mike Weirden.
Yes. The item on the agenda tonight is case number 2117 of the zoning ordinance, chapter 13, administrative and enforcement text amendment. Regarding the plan commission and combination with the zoning board, do we have the evidence of the mailings, the newspaper, and the picture of the sign?
Yes.
Mark those exhibits A, B, and C. We also have a letter of support by Bob Bacaro since he is out of town. Let's mark that exhibit D. Okay, let's go ahead and, would there be a presentation?
Yes, there is.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the Village Board Committee of the Whole directed the staff to draft a text amendment to the zoning ordinance, specifically Chapter 13, Administration and Enforcement, for your review. This proposed amendment, it repeals the existing Chapter 13 in its entirety and adds the new Chapter 13 language, which would create the Planning and Zoning Commission. It also states the new Planning and Zoning Commission's jurisdiction and authority, and would abolish the existing Plan Commission and ZBA while updating all of the public hearing notification requirements. It would specify the special use permit findings for adult use cannabis dispensing centers and/or adult use cultivation centers, and identifies the Planning and Development Services Director, title, power, and duties. And with that, the proposed ordinance is attached, and if you have any questions, I will be happy to answer those.
I know this has been discussed for a long time, and opinions have gone back and forth on it. Apparently, several villages have done this in the area, and it seems that it expedites things a lot for the developers, because sometimes we've had cases that kind of lingered on before they could go on to the next commission. Whereas the Plan Commission could negotiate things with the developers, we could not on the zoning board. We were an up or down vote, yes or no, take it or leave it, all or nothing type of thing. And since we were a 7-member board, we always had to have at least 4 votes going one way, otherwise it was a roll call vote. And I think this is probably going to broaden the horizons and probably be a good thing for the village. The only thing that we could do if we couldn't get consensus on the zoning board, we didn't fully agree, was to have the petitioner just extend it, come back the next month with a new proposal type of thing. And I think this is going to get rid of a lot of that, and we'll be able to get things done in one night. So it probably has a lot of positive things to it.
As Mike said, it seems like this is going to do good things for the village, citizens, businesses in smoothing out the process. I can think of a number of instances where there was something that took place in the zoning board one night, and the people then had to show up at the Plan Commission a week later. So the combining of the two functions into one meeting is really logical.
Just for the record, Bob Bacaro, I think he wanted me to read this into the record, so I think I should. Okay. Dear Mike, regarding tonight's ZBA meeting and specifically Case 2117, Zoning Ordinance Chapter 13 Text Amendment, considering I'm unable to attend the meeting in person, I would like to make the following comments for the public hearing. I am supportive of village processes that are business and developer friendly. Processes need to be efficient and effective when placing demands and requirements on the petitioners. As we discussed previously, I felt a joint meeting of separate ZBA and Plan Commissions when a petitioner has items pertaining to both commissions would solve some of the inefficiencies of the current separate meeting for each commission. The petitioner would only have to attend one meeting, not two, and the process timeline would be a little shorter. However, this joint meeting would likely be cumbersome and possibly confusing because of the involvement of two separate commissions. The solution, I now believe, is to have one commission that handles all issues relating to zoning and planning. Therefore, I am supportive of the Zoning Ordinance Chapter 13 Text Amendment as presented for the public hearing relating to Case 2117. Respectfully, Bob Bucaro.
Any other comments from the board before we open it up to the public?
Yeah, there's in there the thing about cannabis. Is that
Yes.
that just included in this overall change, or is that something we're going to discuss?
So it's currently in the code,
Right.
not in this chapter. And what this chapter does is provide findings of fact for special use permits, which adult use cannabis is in most of the districts that it's permitted or by a special use permit, findings of fact are required. And so these are now specifically listed in this chapter as well, and rather than just the definition chapter.
Okay. And it said something about 9 people on this board?
Yes, it would consist of 9 members.
Right. How is it? Is that something that will be addressed later as to who, what, how, 9 people?
The 9 members would be appointed by the mayor with the consent of the board.
Okay.
So we're looking at, instead of this board, which was 7 members, and having a quorum of 4, 9 members would need to have a quorum of 5.
Thank you.
So if only 5 showed up for the meeting, all 5 would have to be on the same side for the vote.
For it to be a majority positive recommendation. It would still be a vote, but yes.
Any other questions? Comments? All right, we shall open it up to the public. Anyone in the audience have anything to say?
I'm Mark Hopkins, 425 West Railroad Avenue.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly affirm the evidence you're about to give is only the whole truth?
I do,
Okay, go ahead.
I do.
Okay.
Actually, I have questions.
Okay.
And member of the Plan Commission, right? So since we're probably going to have the same discussion next week that you're having this week, no, we're not. This is it. Good, I'm glad. So my question for staff is, if it's okay, is besides the mechanism of combining the two commissions, what substantial changes to current policy and procedure in terms of the decision-making role of, the commission versus the staff, or the commissions in relationship to the village board are in this document?
So those really didn't change, except that it's just one body, recommending body, that sends their recommendation to the village board committee.
Right. So when we look at administrative approval of a site plan,
That is done by the staff.
and that's
That did not
exactly
change.
what we have now.
That's exactly what we have now? Right.
And then the limitations on the village board's power to grant variations with the percentages and that sort of thing, is that the same as it is now?
That is the same, and actually, we cleaned it up and added more of the items that the zoning board typically reviews as far as variations, fences and that kind of thing, that is clearly spelled out in here now, which it wasn't as clear before.
Okay, So there aren't any changes in role or scope or purview, it's just a combination mechanism?
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you very much. That's it.
Have you had any calls or letters from anyone in the public?
I had just one email, and that was it.
Okay. Any further discussion with the board or recommendations?
I have a friend in Streamwood who was involved in their combination, and he said it's worked out very well for them.
Seems to only make sense. Streamline as much as we can.
I know Bob Bucaro had a relative that was involved with some village too that had it. I don't remember now just what it was. It was positive. Any motions?
I would make a motion to suggest to the village to pass a positive recommendation to amend municipal code, Title 10, Chapter 13, Administration and Enforcement.
Here we have a
I'll-
motion
I'll second.
on the floor. At this point, I shall close the public hearing portion. Moved by George, now seconded by Michelle. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Michelle Sarwaz,
Yes.
Charlie DeVoe,
Yes,
George Koziel,
Yes.
Joe Bano,
Yes.
Mike Weirden.
Yes. Okay, we shall pass on a positive unanimous decision. What else do we have on here? What is this, new business?
We're going to have another text amendment next month. Massage establishments. So it's going to be very interesting.
Probably have some testimony going on too.
Might. So, but yes, we do have a meeting next month.
oh, that was my next question. So as far as the committees are going to stay the way we are until it's obviously approved by the village board?
So your recommendation goes back to the village board committee, and then it goes to the village board for a vote. And then, and I don't have dates or anything, the mayor would then appoint individuals to the new P and Z with the consent of the board.
So that likely would happen
I don't have dates.
possibly by April.
All I know is that we actually have a plan commission meeting next month as well. So we have ZBA and plan commission in March.
Anything else? Any motions to adjourn?
I'd like to make a comment before we adjourn. Tonight, we saw the completion of a project that has been in the works for almost a year. Those involved would probably say that they were just doing their jobs. A lot of time and effort has gone into getting this done. With that being said, I'd like to send a big special thank you and job well done to Roberta, Christie, and not to be left out, a special thank you to Kim for bringing this together and ready for presentation to the village board for final approval. One last time, thank you again, Roberta, Christie, and Kim. We couldn't have done this without you. Thank you.
I think it's interesting, we've come full circle. 43 years ago, they were combined and they had to be split. Something about state law, so apparently things have changed and now they're going to be combined. Any motions to adjourn?
So moved.
Moved by George, second?
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Joe Bano seconded. Okay.
I guess we're done.